From Daily Trust News Center, this is News Hour.
Fears grip Barakallahu community after assassination of Director of Operations at Kaduna Geographic Information Service. Supreme Court voids Executive Order 10 giving autonomy to state judiciary. Aisha Muhammed, spinal cord injury patient suffering in silence. And US President Joe Biden signs order to unfreeze AFGHAN funds for aid and victims of September 11 attacks. Hello and welcome. My name is Zainab Bala. Now, gunmen in Kaduna killed Director Operation of the State Geographic Information Service, Kadgis Dauda and Chow. The assassination at the residence in Barakallahu community in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State has created fears in the minds of the residents who want the state government to strengthen security measures to avoid the occurrence of such incident in the area. The report.
According to the neighbor of the late Dauda Ancho, assassinated in the early hours of Friday, residents heard sounds of gunshots around midnight.
I'm calling on the government to support us. This is not the first time it is happening. You don't get to hear any feedback after some time. The government needs to take a drastic measure. To be honest, it has not been easy. The incident put many on their toes. Everyone is in a state of fright.
This morning we woke up with grief, scared and terrified, with an event that one of us, a member of this community, was assassinated by criminals in the area. So we are still mourning. We are in a sober situation. We are trying to connect to the deep source of the issue and find a solution to these issues. Unfortunately, that is exactly what happened last night.
The community says the rate of banditry and other crimes in Igabi is alarming, appealing to the government to deploy armed security personnel to curb insecurity.
Well, we are in touch with the government. The government has been assisting us and we are working together to assist the government too. And I want the government to continue to do its best because the security in Igabi local government and Giwa local government is somehow terribly alarming, particularly there are a lot of banditry attacks. But this case is showing like the issue of assassins because nobody was kidnapped in the house, no valuable was taken, and the gentleman was killed, which is a very important person to state government, being an official of the state government and to the community. I call on the federal government and the state government and all security agencies around us to work together and dig to the bottom of this issue.
According to them, the gunmen carted away laptops and mobile phones at Ungwar Kanu, close to Barakallahu, after killing the director.
We were inside lying down. Before we understand, the kidnappers came in. They followed through the window. We were inside before they came into our room. We went and hid. When they entered, they didn't find us inside. So they took our phones and laptops with the rest of the things and they left with it. We didn't find it easy because they came unaware.
Yesterday around 12 to 9 midnight, 12 to 1 midnight, so I heard a sound and we realized that there are some people that just came in and they vandalized my son's room. They did not kidnap anybody, but they took away the laptop and his bag that they came back from work to get.
How do you feel when you're inside your house?
I really feel bad and I wasn't happy and I was afraid. All the family was afraid, but because nobody slept at all till the daybreak.
Dauda Aliyu Ancho has since been buried according to Islamic rites after Jumu'at prayer in his hometown, Ancho in Kubo local government area.
A yet-to-be-identified driver narrowly escaped death after his car skied off the Shehu-Yaradua highway to fall into the Jabi Lake in Abuja. Fishermen rushed to the scene to rescue the damaged vehicle and the occupant. No casualties recorded as operatives of the Federal Road Safety Corps, vehicle inspection officers and Federal Emergency Management Agency arrived at the scene for rescue operations. Trust TV's Aisha Salu was there.
This is the bridge by the popular Jabi Lake where an accident occurred. According to eyewitnesses on ground at the time of the incident, the vehicle swung off the expressway and plunged into the lake. This looks like a scene out of a movie, but it is real.
The incident left many road users gathered at the scene as the family of the victim narrates in detail the event that led to the crash.
The boy himself, his name is Casey. So he was coming back. I don't know where he went to. He didn't tell anybody where he went to. So on his way coming back, that's why he now had the accident. So currently the family has been kind of they have been in a shock since this happened yesterday 11:30 the night. So and they were the fishermen that helped to bring him out. So they started calling the dad. They thought they were kidnappers because nobody can ever actually fathom how somebody will jump from the main road to the river, to the lake. So it's something that nobody can actually understand how it happened, but it actually happened. So the guy flew from that end. From the end, he was on the rail up to this point where he hit the rail, then jumped inside the river. So that's what actually happened yesterday night. So
he further noted that the victim was rescued and taken to the hospital.
Since then, everybody who had been here since that yesterday night. We came here yesterday night, then brought him out, and went to the hospital where they took him to. From there, they treated him, took him home. So he's in the house now. So right now, the issue now is they have to bring the car out. So that's what I've been doing here. We've been here since around 6 o'clock in the morning. Had to get the car out. So they brought this their host hostage. They were there, VIO people now came, so they're going to help. So they're bringing their own house, and they're only bigger and stronger to carry the car out. So that's the situation now.
Efforts to get operatives of the Federal Road Safety Corps, vehicle inspection officers and Federal Emergency Management Agency on ground to carry out rescue operations to grant interviews were unsuccessful.
As you can see right behind me, the accident has caused quite a scene, and there is a little bit of traffic congestion as passers-by stop out of curiosity to find out the extent of the damage. Although officials on ground and rescue team are here to make sure the situation is calm. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
There you go. And now to judiciary matters. Supreme Court on Friday declared the Executive Order 10, which President Muhammad Buhari issued on the funding of state judiciary and legislature, illegal. The Apex Court, in a split decision by 7-member panel of justices, held that the President acted beyond his statutory powers. The judgment followed a suit filed by 36 states of the Federation, and while 6 justices upheld the suit, a member of the panel dismissed it. It will be recalled that President Buhari had, in the executive order he signed on May 22, 2020, made it mandatory for all states to include allocations of both the legislature and the judiciary in the appropriation laws, in compliance with Section 121, subsection 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. Now, following that, Chuks Azu is Daily Trust head of judiciary. In an interview we recorded earlier, he gives us perspectives on the judgment. Look.
Can he go? Okay,
so what happened today was a split decision of the 7-member panel of the Supreme Court of Nigeria on the question of autonomy for the judiciary. You will recall that in May 2020, Mr. President Muhammad Buhari signed the Executive Order number 10, which sought to enforce the provisions of the Constitution provided in Section 121, sub 3 of the Nigerian Constitution for autonomy for funds standing to the credit of the judiciary to be paid to the head of the courts in the various states. In that way, the judiciary will be able to fund its needs in terms of high courts, staff quarters for judges, recruitment, payment of emoluments, and other recurrent expenditures of the court. Now, by that split decision, the majority members of that panel held that the executive at the federal level, via the president, has overstepped its constitutional powers by making that executive order and voided that executive order, thereby restoring the federal principle upon which Nigeria was built upon. So the implication of this judgment is that there is a win-win for both parties, both the federal and the state governments. On one hand, the state governments, through their lawyers, led by former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Austin Alege, were seeking to get refunds for capital projects executed in one of the superior courts of record, being the high courts in the states. And it amounted to 66 billion naira. And what it then meant is that subsequently the federal government will fund capital expenditure of the high courts. The states, 36 states government were not contesting the expenditure for lower courts like the magistrate court, the Sharia courts of appeal, and the customary courts. They were contending the capital expenditure for the high courts. And of course, they were also seeking to stop the executive order. But the Supreme Court rejected their arguments for a fund of 66 billion on capital projects, but went on to nullify the enforcement of that executive order. So the implication is that there is a win-win, but in a greater degree, it tended to emphasize what a lot of people have been saying, that the executive order appeared to be a more convenient, simplistic approach to the question of federal system of governance in Nigeria. That's a bigger conversation which ought to be addressed via a National Assembly review of the Nigerian Constitution. But going through the executive order is like a piecemeal approach to the conversation around federalism. So it means now that the status quo to some extent will remain, which is that the states cannot be commanded by the federal government to enforce the autonomy for judiciary. But of course, the states are still bound, duty bound to, respect the Constitution in terms of the autonomy for judiciary. And the way forward is that the states on their own should begin to canvass for a holistic review of the Constitution. And of course, it's also the duty of Nigerians, civil society, to monitor states in their respective individual basis to see whether there is implementation of the constitutional provisions. Yes, they may have gotten away with some of the infringements in the past. And of course, the law allows them to remain autonomous from the federal government. But then that question in the Constitution still needs to be addressed as far as the issue of judicial autonomy is concerned.
There you go. That was Chuks Azu, Daily Trust, head of judiciary, giving us perspectives on the Supreme Court judgment. Now, still ahead, detained former Works Commissioner in Kano State, Muaz Magaji, has fulfilled his bail conditions after Magistrate Aminu Gabari reviewed his bail applications. Counsel for Magaji, Garzali Detti, applied for the review of the earlier bail conditions, which the presiding magistrate accepted and adjourned the case to March 3rd for continuation of hearing.
Of course we did that. We completed the bail condition. After 4 days of completion, we were able to meet with the magistrate for him to release our, to sign our release warrant. Then it was then we were told that there was a mistake in complying with our bail condition. The court meant for us to produce Chief Imam of Dawakintopa local government, whereas we produced Chief Imam of Sadaunia village, meaning that we wrongly, and the staff of the court wrongly did that, being informed what the court says goes. All the time what the court says goes. So that means we need to substitute the Chief Imam of Dan Sarauniya with Chief Imam of Dawakin Topa, obviously we could not meet with that terms. Reason being that the Chief Imam of Dawakin Topa is answerable to the district head, and the district head of Dawakin Topa is the biological brother, same mom, same dad with the complainant in this case. We don't even need to approach him and ask him to come and stand a surety with our client, because there's no way he can do that. But yet we went extra mile and met him. He informed us that he was not going to lose his job just to stand a surety for our client. We wrote an application for the court for relaxation. In its wisdom, the court granted the application with additional conditions.
Police Service Commission has issued 2 weeks ultimatum to the Nigeria Police to conclude investigations on the case involving the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, AFGHAN. This is contained in a statement issued on Friday by the head press and public relations of the Commission, Ikechukwu Ani. The Commission also directed the police to ensure that the investigation is carried out by a different panel, following the Commission's 14th plenary meeting in Abuja, chaired by retired Inspector General of Police and Chairman of the Commission, Musiliu Smith. Recall that Kyari suspended on August 1st, 2021, following recommendations by Inspector General of Police Usman Baba over his alleged ties with fraudster Ramon Abbas, popularly called Hush Puppy. Followed a report by the Federal Bureau of Investigation of the United States of America, which indicted Kyari in the case of fraud involving the Instagram celebrity Hush Puppy. Kyari, until his suspension by the Commission, served as the officer in charge of the Inspector General of Police Intelligence Response Team. Now to more personal matters. Spinal cord injury is gradually becoming a common problem in Nigeria, with over 100,000 cases recorded every year, mostly from accidents. There are over 1,000 reported cases of spinal cord injury in Katsina State. Abdullahi Yamadi meets Aisha Muhammed, one of the patients with spinal cord injuries, suffering in silence.
Aisha Muhammad Film Polo Quarters in Katsina Metropolis is one of the hundreds of unfortunate victims of spinal cord injury in Katsina State. This young lady has been suffering in pains since 2019 when she had an accident inside her toilet. The unlucky Aisha was taken to native doctors for treatment, but instead of getting what she bargained for, they further compounded her problems. The native doctor later discovered that the condition of Aisha Muhammad is beyond him and advised for diagnosis and treatment in a specialist hospital. It was when the young lady was taken to orthopedic hospital Dala, Kano, it was discovered that she had a severe spinal cord injury and advised for immediate surgery, therapy, medications and other palliatives. Life with spinal cord injury is unbearable, but I have to endure it. This injury is traumatic. There are instances I cannot sleep. I can't help myself. I need support and assistance of everybody. In fact, it is a new life experience. Though, according to experts, spinal cord injury can hardly be cured. It can be a lifelong trauma, but Aisha Muhammad is keeping hope high that she can be cured and get married later in her life. In fact, the condition of Aisha Muhammad is deteriorating by the day, as she neither pees nor urinates by herself. She also requires the support of her sisters or stepmother anytime she wants to bathe or answer the call of nature. According to medical bills from Dala Orthopedic Hospital, Kano, Aisha Muhammad requires the sum of 2 million naira to undergo surgery and other medications to save her dear life. For over 3 years since Aisha had this spinal cord injury, her father, who is a pensioner, was only able to receive 500,000 naira from Katsina State government and 120,000 naira from individuals as donations, part of which is being used for the upkeep of the patient on other drugs. Aisha's father, Alhaji Muhammad, said since the unfortunate incidents in 2019, they were having sleepless nights as she cries day and night as a result of severe pains.
And we took her to orthopedic hospital here in Katsina. From there they refer us to National Orthopedic Hospital, Dala Kano. There they give us estimate of 2 million. The little we have, the state government have donated 500,000. Then individuals help us. We have about 120,000. So up till now, we are still looking forward to good people of this country to please come to our aid and help us.
The stepmother to the patients, Hajia Aisha, calls for support from individuals, corporate bodies to save the dear life of Aisha Muhammad. Aisha has been suffering in pains since 2019. Before now, we did not even know what happened to her until when we took her to Orthopedic Hospital Kano, and the money is beyond our capacity. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Another story closely related to this is the one about Benjamin Tekimbi, who gets electrocuted and falls from an electric pole while attempting to fix electrical fault in Makurdi, Benue State. Tekimbi is rushed to a hospital where no proper diagnosis could be made on his condition, and so confined to his house for 8 months before a kind neighbor assisted him into a rehabilitation center in Abuja. Benjamin is diagnosed with spinal cord injury and is currently bedridden. He says he hopes to one day walk again.
Me, I work for community electrician, so I plan to fix light. So now light shock me, so I fall. So they carry me go hospital, federal hospital, I pay from Makurdi. So I go spend 1 month there. So they test the no ability, they say, okay, I come Abuja, go and do the test. So when I come Abuja, do the test, they tell me say spinal cord injury. So they say okay, I give them money to do one for me. So now I don't have money. I go to the house, 8 months. So one of my neighbor, he connected to one woman, but I don't know that woman. They carry me to the hospital. We come, the first operation, the solar place. So they say the thing. Not be afraid something. The thing is 2 days. They no go free do something for me. So now I can hear they do exercise. So the thing will happen with that. So I think how before I work, I do my work, do everything. But now I can't do like this. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. No way. So I no get money, my family no money. So every day I think how I go take survive. I know say I will work. So if government, because some they say they carry me go abroad, so the thing they will do them very fine. So no go. Come and help me give my wife business like that. All school fees for my children. Things just the ground and that. So if go and help me like that, I will happy.
Now, seizure of 2 government properties in Choice area in Abuja by the Assets Management Corporation of Nigeria, AFGHAN, over indebtedness of Shonga Farm Holdings is igniting reaction from Kwara State government, saying it will scrutinize all the necessary documents connected to government properties sold by past administration for diligent prosecution. Former Governor Bukola Saraki established Shonga Farms under his Agriculture Revolution program.
17,000 hectares of land is earmarked for the farm project. Zimbabwean farmers were allocated 13,000 hectares of the land. However, The firm is now under scrutiny by the current government after AFGHAN seized government properties because of the indebtedness of the firm.
So as of today, they have sold 9. Do I say? Yes, they have sold 9 of the farms. 9 out of 13 farms. So even if Kwara goes ahead to pay this debt, you will be paying for 4 farms. Kwara will be paid. The claim in court is 1.7 billion. That's what AFGHAN is claiming. Now, what we are trying to do is to get across to AFGHAN and see how we can salvage Kwara's property. Because you cannot say because these people have scammed Kwara, then the property will go. No.
Government officials say Kwara has not benefited from the farm despite investing more than 5 billion naira in the farm. The claim that what the people of Kwara State have in return from the farm is debt upon debt and now seizure of properties in choice areas in Abuja.
And these farming entities were actually categorized into 3 major subsectors of the agribusiness value chain. One sector is the dairy, another sector is the cropping, and the third sector is the poultry. Now, for each of the 13 Zimbabwean farmers that were brought in, who were handed over each of those companies with investments in hundreds of millions, records shows very clearly that they invested not a penny. They came into Nigeria and into Kwara State with not a single amount of money, either in Naira-denominated investment or in foreign currency denominated investment. And so basically what we have and which we have inherited both from the previous administration and from the previous management of Shonga Farm Holding Company is what we refer to as an equity participation agreement.
The state government is now dusting its papers to begin diligent prosecution of what it calls the Shonga Farm scam.
3 approaches. One is the business angle, the other one is the legal angle. Because we cannot sit down, so we are taking steps to approach the court, to let the court see the reasons why in the first time that order hot note have been made, so that the court can set it aside. But that will not solve the problem, because the problem remains that Shonga Farm Holdings, which has yielded no benefit to anybody in Kwara State, remains part and parcel of this failure.
According to the state government, there are other options being considered to ensure that state funds did not go down the drains.
You're watching News R on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, you get to see how one armed construction worker built his clientele in Abuja. Stay with us. Right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News on Trust Television. Here are top stories. Gunmen in Kaduna killed Director Operation of the State Geographic Information Service, Dauda and Chow. Supreme Court on Friday declared the Executive Order 10, which President Muhammed Buhari issued on the funding of state judiciary and legislature, illegal. Still ahead, synergy among security agencies in addressing issues of oil theft in the Niger Delta region is yielding results. Rivers State Commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Abu Tambol, said this while receiving 6 suspected oil thieves and 12 exhibits from the Nigerian Navy ship NNS Pathfinder in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. The report.
The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC Rivers State Command has into custody 6 suspected vandals and 12 boats laden with illegally refined petroleum products from Nigerian Navy NNS Pathfinder. Commandant Tambuwal, who expressed displeasure over the colossal waste oil theft has caused the nation, restated the resolve of the command to put a stop to illegal bunkering activities in the state.
With all assurances from the Office of the Commandant General, we are here today to acknowledge and receive the exhibit recovered so far and assuredly affirm our determination, courage, and for the upkeep of this exhibit with high level of integrity. And assuredly, necessary investigations will follow and further necessary action for possible prosecution will be done by the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps.
Given details of the arrest, the base operations officer, NNS Pathfinder Commander Umaru Sidi, attributes the arrest and seizures to the launch of Operation River Dominance, which entailed constant monitoring of activities on the waterways and creeks up to Cotton Channel.
We activated an operation codenamed Operation River Dominance. So most of these arrests that we made were because of, during the course of this operation. We have riverine command posts within the creeks and waterways. So we're able to man and establish choke points there. And because of that, we made several arrests. We arrested about 12 wooden boats, some in Cotton Channel, some along the creek here, some around Makoba area. So some of these boats are at the jetty, as the XO rightly said, and we all go there from there to see. Others are in other holding bays.
The Commandant, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Abu Tambwell, who took delivery of the exhibits during the handover and courtesy visit at Nigerian Navy ship NNS Pathfinder Rivers State, called for stronger interagency alliance among security operatives in the fight against oil theft in the maritime domain. Executive Officer, Nigerian Navy ship NNS Pathfinder, who stood in for the Commander Oluwaseyi Akano, described the synergy between Navy and NSCDC as encouraging, maintaining that the relationship will continue. He expressed happiness that all the previous suspects handed over to NSCDC for prosecution were adequately handled.
Be rest assured, your handover of these exhibits will put more courage on us to join hands together and affirm our synergy in the area of giving a saving forum for the national economy. It is indeed an act of sabotage to the Nigerian economy, which we must stand firm to fight and get it stopped once for a while. We need to synergize very well for us to achieve this goal of fighting economic sabotage in all its facets.
I can assure you, sir, that the relationship between us and you, it's a very wonderful one, and we will always maintain it. So we need each other to work. And on behalf of the command, I will say that we will continue to foster the cordial relationship between both entities, and to also pass along your request for further training between both parties to the command.
High points of the event include a joint patrol by the Navy and NSCDC officers on Isaka waterways.
Isaac Kimano is one armed man from Kaduna State, but good at paddling jobs in Abuja. Imano defies his physical challenge to fend for himself and his family. According to him, at the age of 11, he has his arm chopped off by a grinding machine, an incident he will never forget.
Born like this, I was 11. My father have a grinding machine. So when we come back from school, sometimes we assist our mother or whoever is grinding the engine. We have some people that are coming to help us. So I came back from school. I was watching Animal Kingdom from TV in our own bed, sitting room. So it's very interesting. My stepmother was the one doing the grinding. So she kept coming for me to help her because of the interesting film that I was watching of the animal issue. I was escaping. Unfortunately, she came and I was wearing agbada. So I cannot pull it out. I went for the grinding engine to help her. After finishing the grinding, so to go and off the engine, then the agbada hook from the wheel of the tire of the grinding engine. So it turned in struggling to come out the agbada. My own hand slipped, my left hand slipped into the big wheel. Then it just break the hand instantly, cut it off. So that is how it just happened.
Quite interesting, isn't it? Now, more to serious matters. Ahead of Federal Capital Territory Area Council's election on Saturday, residents of Abuja want prospective area council chairmen and their councillors to keep their mandate, as many communities in the FCT still lack basic social amenities like water, stable electricity, good roads and quality education. Mardia Umar visits one of these communities and she reports on how the voting public are getting ready for the election.
Democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. A democratically elected council chairman is what the residents of the FCT want as people march to the polls to elect their chairman across the Federal Capital Territory. We are at Karmajija, one of the suburbs under the Abuja Municipal Area Council, where basic amenities is an issue. And we're here to talk to some of the residents on what the expectations are from the area council chairman if elected come few hours.
My own opinion is this: the new chairman that is coming in this community, what we are expecting of him to do for is that we are having problem about our education, as in primary level education in this community. Maybe he can build enough school, especially the primary schools and the secondary school for us. And though Candido has done the road, but it's not yet concluded. So maybe we can continue from where Candido starts. And then the water as well. We needed water. And about our health, we have a net center here, but it's not enough. I think if we can have a good road, water, and our education is good, I think we are good to go, and then to empower our women too.
We need like a better hospital, we need like environmental, we need like employment. So people are traveling for this village. I think I think the election day now, like STT election. I think many politicians come here. You are need to. Many people are voting here, so we need many things for this village.
What we are forced to see in this forthcoming election that is coming tomorrow, one of the things most people around will want to see is you keeping to your promises as an elected person. Be you the chairman, the councillor, and who have you. The first attraction people look out for is when you have a good road to the market, when you have good roads to the schools, when you have good roads to your worship centers, people reside and be comfortable. Social amenities, when you have water, people will look at that. When you have, markets, do you understand? It attracts people to be comfortable in wherever they are. In Karmajiji, where I reside, these are the things I look out for.
Like my area in Nyakowumba, our road there is bad. If they can come and do the road after winning the election, it will be very good and nice.
The Center for Environmental Sustainability and Development Awareness, CESTA, says it will be deploying observers across all wards in the Federal Capital Territory to monitor the February 12th area council election. Executive Director of the Center, Olushola Babalola, also noted that it is keen on ensuring that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, lives up to its mandate by ensuring a free and transparent election.
They have been telling us that they are going to deploy beavers and results will be transmitted, from polling unit directly, to their server. So we are waiting for them. We are looking out, to actually see that happening on Saturday.
This election is very critical to the original inhabitants because right now they have their power to elect who they want to the position.
For the ladies out there, do not feel marginalized. Go out and participate. We have equal rights just like the male gender. We should be involved more in elections. For the youth, please make sure that you do not make yourself an available tool for these politicians to use. It is just an election.
We are also very emphatic on the rights and the responsibilities of the original inhabitants of the FCT. If at the level of a council election you are not coming out to participate, then you are also sending a message subtly that you are not ready to participate at the higher level.
In this time and age where evil showmakers have access to social media, we are still waiting for a law that will guarantee INEC to transmit election result electronically. For me, I think that is really absurd.
Zamfara State House of Assembly has directed the State Chief Judge Justice Kulu Aliyu to constitute a panel to investigate the allegations against Deputy Governor of the state, Mahadi Gusau. 18 members out of 22 members of the State Assembly unanimously endorsed the resolution to direct the Chief Judge of Zamfara State, Justice Kulu Aliyu, to constitute a panel to investigate the Deputy Governor on alleged breach of the Constitution, gross misconduct and self-enrichment. 3 members of the State Assembly were, however, absent at the extraordinary plenary session. The report.
The Deputy Speaker of the State Assembly and Chairman House Committee on Public Account, Honorable Musa Bawa, representing Safe East constituency, moved the motion for the investigation of the State Deputy Governor during the extraordinary plenary session. Yusuf Al-Hassan, representing Maru North constituency, seconded the motion. The Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Nasiru Muazu, after the voting, ruled that their action is in line with sections 188 and 199 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. He said he will forward to the Chief Judge of the State, Justice Kulu Aliyu, the resolution of the Assembly to constitute a panel to investigate the allegations against the Deputy Governor, Mahadi Gusau.
Having concluded the voting done by the Clerk of the House, who was assisted by Deputy Clerk as well as Director Legislative Matters. The honorable members that are here, anomalously their votes are saying aye. So having satisfied the requirement of the law under section 198 of 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, I will formally forward request to His Lordship, Chief Judge of the State, to constitute panel in order to investigate the alleged Deputy Governor of Zamfara State, Barrister Mahadi Gusau.
Zamfara State House of Assembly has 24 members, out of which 2 died, bringing the number to 22. Only 1 member, Salisu Zurmi, remained in the People's Democratic Party, PDP, with the Deputy Governor, Mahadi Gusau.
Elsewhere, Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal is preparing the grounds to contest the 2023 presidential election. The pointer to this is his consultation visit to People's Democratic Party (PDP) stakeholders in his northwest geopolitical region. Tambuwal meets with Senator Ahmed Makarfi and party faithful in Kaduna, calling on the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to ensure a free, fair and credible election in 2023.
Tambuwal's second tenure as governor will expire May 29, 2023, and is consulting party members on his next political ambition. In Kaduna, where he had meeting with former governor and PDP National Caretaker Committee Chairman Ahmed Makarfi on his ambition to run for presidency, Tambuwal asked the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to conduct free, fair and credible election.
Head of the electoral umpire INEC, Professor Mahmoud, has only one option, and that option is to leave a lasting legacy for himself. And he's, from my knowledge, from a very good family background, so he needs to actually make sure that he do not soil that his family history and his own personal history by ensuring that he conducts free and fair election. Even President Muhammad Buhari himself, despite all of the failures that we see everywhere of his administration, the only legacy that is left for him is to ensure that there is free, fair and credible election.
Speaking on insecurity, Tambuwal said that deploying technology will help in the fight against banditry besides recruitment of more personnel.
Deployment of technology. As states were constrained as to what manner of equipment we can procure and deploy, because there are some of them, if not all of them, that requires the approval of the Office of the National Security Advisor, and which to some extent only the federal government can actually procure and deploy. So we'll, by the grace of God, deploy more technology in the fight against banditry, kidnapping, insecurity, and general insecurity of the country.
Ahmed Makarfi advised the PDP to unite in order to achieve victory in 2023. Former Sokoto State Governor Attahiru Bafarawa, former Water Resources Minister Mukhtar Shagari, Counter-Terrorism Coordinator General Sadikin Yaki, former Governor Sule Lamido, among others, formed the governor's entourage.
Deputy President of the Senate, Ovi Umwagege, Chairman Constitution Review Committee, has urged lawmakers in the 6 geopolitical zones to ensure that the ongoing proposed amendments is done in the interest of Nigeria and not personal interest. The admonition is coming at a retreat organized towards the review of the 1999 Constitution by the Joint Ad Hoc Committee of the National Assembly and members of the Conference of Speakers in Abuja on Friday.
The Ad Hoc Committee on Constitution Amendment, before taking this huge task, called for submissions of memoranda where the general public responded well. A total of 178 memoranda with 1,908 specific recommendations were also received. While commending the parliamentarians for their dedication and sacrifices in their review exercise, Senator Omor Agege says the success of the process is hinged on their cooperation and partnership. Omor Agege further stated that the lawmakers would have written their names in gold at the time the National Assembly would have passed the proposal in a fortnight.
Are thus predicated on the need to, amongst others, strengthen the legislature's authority to enable it to serve as an effective pillar of checks and balances to the executive, strengthen independent constitutional bodies, create and strengthen a culture of good governance, address the issues of corruption, revenue leakages and unbridled government spending. I know it is the desire of every Nigerian that this process will bring positive transformation to our country.
On his part, Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives Ahmed Idris said Constitution Review Committee aggregated views canvassed by Nigerians during the public hearings between May and June 2021. He reminded the lawmakers on the need to put Nigeria first in the course of the assignment.
These thematic areas include issues bordering on local government administration autonomy, the legislature, judiciary reforms, state creation, state police, devolution of powers, women and vulnerable groups, strengthening of institutions, good governance, political parties and electoral matters, traditional institutions, Federal Capital Territory Administration, fundamental human rights, and national security. During this first batch of the review exercise, the committee in the House of Representatives considered 62 bills, out of which 26 bills were recommended for harmonization with the Senate. Of the 62 bills, 8 bills were rejected, 25 bills were retained with modifications, and consideration for the 3 bills were deferred.
Meanwhile, representative of the Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures in the country, Abubakar Suleiman, thanked stakeholders for their efforts so far. He promised Nigerians that this time the legislature will give the country a constitution that will stand the test of time. The retreat then dissolved into executive session.
Now let's join Fatima Musa for some business reports.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has revealed that it will stop the sale for foreign exchange to deposit money banks by the end of this year. The CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, stated this on Thursday at a press briefing on the launch of the bank's new Forex repatriation scheme, RT200, which held after the Bankers Committee meeting in Abuja. According to the CBN Governor, banks must begin to source their Forex from export proceeds, hence the need to support non-oil exporters in the country, and explained that the decision is in line with the Apex Bank's new commitment to boost the country's foreign reserve through proceeds from non-oil exports. Under the program, which is to take effect immediately, the Apex Bank will provide concessionary and long-term loans for business interested in expanding existing plants or building new ones for the sole purpose of adding significant value to the non-oil commodities before exporting same. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has warned that Nigerians' decade-long rise in public debts could create both financial as well as revenue squeeze for the economy in the medium term. The fund's mission chief for Nigeria, Jasmine Rahman, in the IMF Nigeria 2001 Article 6 consultation staff press conference, stated that though the country's current debt dynamics at the moment seems favorable as it still resides within the 30% threshold, its trajectory, however, will become a major economic concern in the medium term. Debt servicing for Nigeria since oil declined in 2020 has been dependent on CBN overdraft and Eurobond subscription. The Naira for Dollar scheme introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, last year has helped boost remittances by 1,566.6%, from only $6 million per week to over $100 million weekly, Godwin Emefiele, governor of the CBN, said on Thursday. He disclosed this at a press conference after the Bankers Committee meeting, where he announced the introduction of the non-oil FX rebate scheme, a special local current rebate scheme for non-oil exports of semi-finished and finished produce who showed verifiable evidence of export proceeds repatriation sold directly into the I&E window to boost liquidity in the market. Addressing journalists after the Bankers Committee meeting held virtually in Abuja, Emefiele said CBN shall establish the modalities for granting a rebate for each dollar that non-oil export proceeds that exporters sell into the market for the benefit of other FX users and not for funding its own operations. On March 6, 2001, the CBN introduced the Naira for Dollar scheme as an incentive to boost inflow of diaspora remittances into the country. That's all for business news. I am Fatima Musa.
And on the foreign scene, United States President Joe Biden has signed an executive order creating the possibility of splitting $7 billion in frozen Afghan funds held in the U.S., potentially allocating half for humanitarian aid to the country, while keeping the other half available for possible seizure by victims of the September 11 attacks. In a statement, the White House said the order is designed to provide a path for the funds to reach the people of Afghanistan while keeping them out of the hands of the Taliban and malicious actors. The Biden executive order signed on Friday said that even if the pending judgment allows $3.5 billion to go to the people of Afghanistan, another $3.5 billion will stay in the U.S. and remain subject to ongoing litigation by U.S. victims of terrorism. The Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan in August of 2021 prompted governments and international institutions to swiftly freeze Afghan central bank assets abroad, totaling about $10 billion. About $7 billion of that was held in the U.S. Now let's take a look at what's happening in the sports world with Adeni Ajishafe.
Nigeria is set to host 2022 African Junior Cadet Fencing Championship from February 23rd to 27th at Molade Okoya Thomas Indoor Sports Hall of Teslim Balogun Stadium in Lagos. Nigeria, Egypt, South Africa, Ghana, Senegal, Angola and DR Congo are among other teams that will be participating. Nigerian Fencing Federation President Adeyinka Samuel commends Lagos State Sports Commission for providing adequate support towards the successful hosting of the championship. Nigeria hosted 8th Junior Cadet Africa Fencing Championship in March 2018 with over 200 fencers from 31 African countries participating, while Egypt, Africa's topmost ranked team, led the overall medals table. Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN, has appointed Technical Director Samuel Onikeku and Athletics Coach Tony Osheku as technical delegates to Silver Label Access Lagos City Marathon, which holds this weekend in Lagos. Onikeku, former Nigeria international, and Osheku, one of the most knowledgeable coaches in road running in Nigeria with World Athletics Technical Delegate, ensure compliance with all rules and regulations and World Athletics Label road race regulations. Nigeria is known for 2 world-rated road running events in Access Lagos Marathon and Okpekpe Road Race in Edo State. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
Well, with sports, we wrap up news this hour. My name is Zainab Bala. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.